Hi everyone, I'm Mihoko for Hey Singapore.
Hi, I'm Hannah.
Today we're going to talk about how to go to Tokyo University for free. The Japanese government started the project called Global 30 in 2009. What is Global 30? 13 universities across Japan offer fully English-taught Bachelor and Master courses. The 13 universities are 7 state universities and 6 private universities. The state universities are Tokyo, Kyoto, Osaka, Nagoya, Kyushu, Tohoku, and Tsukuba. The private universities are Doshisha, Keio, Meiji, Ritsumeikan, Sophia, and Waseda University. Tuition fees of the state universities are a lot cheaper than private universities as the Japanese government subsidizes them. And good news is that the same tuition fee applies to foreign students. The tuition fee is around 6,000 Singapore dollars per year for the state universities and about 14,000 Singapore dollars for the private universities. Hannah applied for PEAK program of the University of Tokyo in 2017. So she's going to talk about her interview later. So Hannah only applied for the University of Tokyo among these Global 30 universities. Today I'm going to mainly talk about this PEAK program of the University of Tokyo. So what is PEAK program of the University of Tokyo? PEAK stands for Programs in English at Komaba. And Komaba is the name of the campus of the University of Tokyo. There are 2 programs in PEAK, which are Japan in East Asia and Environmental Sciences. So what is the application process like? Application for 2022 September admission starts from November 22nd and ends on December 22nd in 2021. Application fee is 5,000 yen, which is about 59 Singapore dollars. So after the first screening, there will be an interview in either February or March 2022. Then acceptance will be notified on April 4th, 2022. How much is the tuition fee as of 2021? Admission fee, which is one-time payment, is 282,000 yen, which is around 3,300 Singapore dollars. And annual tuition fee is about 6,300 Singapore dollars. For those who receive an unconditional offer, need to pay a one-time payment of admission fee in May 2022. Those who receive a conditional offer needs to pay an admission fee in August 2022 to secure your slot. And the academic year commences on September 1st, 2022. Who can apply? Applicants must have at least 4 years in primary school and 5 years in secondary school studying in languages other than Japanese. It doesn't have to be consecutive. For environmental science program, you need at least 2 science subjects out of mathematics, physics, chemistry, or biology. What is the minimum score to apply? If you're doing IB 38 points out of 42 for 6 subjects, plus 2 points from TOK and extended essay. For environmental sciences, you need a specific combination of subjects and scores. If you're doing GCE A-levels or International A-levels, at least 3 grades of A or above. If you're doing Singapore-Cambridge GCE A-levels, the best H2 subjects must be AAB or above. If you're doing NUS High School Diploma, at least 3 major subjects must be taken. The average CAP score should be 4.3 or above. Are there scholarships available? So the University of Tokyo Scholarship offers 126,000 yen per month for 4 years and free admission and tuition fee. Plus, they guarantee 4-year stay at the dorm. It's applicable for up to 10 people in PEAK program. And this is a scholarship Hannah was offered. When you receive an acceptance letter, the scholarship is offered at the same time. It's merit-based and you don't need to apply for it. They will choose who to give it to depending on your score and the interview result. Another major scholarship is offered by the Japanese government. The Japanese government scholarship, MEXT, covers admission fee, tuition fee, round-trip economy class airline ticket between your home country and Japan, and living expenses of 120,000 yen per month. This scholarship is offered up to 5 successful applicants. There are other scholarships available. For details, check out the website of PEAK program. Whereas students of PEAK program living, dorms are guaranteed for all PEAK students for the first year. The room is single occupancy with an ensuite bathroom. So next, let's ask Hannah what the actual interview was like. How long was the interview?
I would say the interview was around 20 to 30 minutes.
And how many interviewers altogether?
So there are about 5 people in the room itself, and 2 of them were interviewing me through Zoom.
What was the first question?
So after just brief self-introductions, the first question they asked me was what I ate for breakfast that very morning. So I answered truthfully. I had eggs, ham, and bread. And then after I told them what I had for breakfast, they asked me where I thought those ingredients were from or where they were sought from. So I answered truthfully. Because Singapore doesn't have a lot of land for pastures, for example, I said that the ham might be from somewhere like Australia, which has a lot more land for pastures and free-range animals. Then for the eggs, I said it could possibly be from Singapore, maybe the Kampong area where it's locally produced, or maybe neighboring countries like Malaysia where we can import the eggs from. Then for the bread itself, I also answered that it was most likely imported from somewhere abroad, such as Malaysia or Australia. So although the questions itself began pretty simple, asking what you were having for breakfast and where do you think the ingredients were from, they did ask a lot more in-depth questions, trying to allow the interviewee to analyze their answers a bit more. So I would go into depth into why maybe Singapore imports a lot of their F&B produces like eggs, meats, and things like bread. They ask questions to try and get you to think about the deeper reasons behind your answers.
So what was the second question?
So for the second question, they actually gave us something to analyze in depth. So they gave me a world map with the hazard zones, more specifically a lot of coastal hazard zones being highlighted, and asked me to describe what I see and explain why certain areas are more prone to natural disasters. So because they gave me a world map where a lot of coastal hazards were being highlighted, they asked me to pick a specific area to describe more in depth. So I chose to focus on the Gulf of Mexico, where a lot of the hazard zones were more prominent than other areas and other coastal zones. And the reason for that would be a lot of natural disasters occur in the Gulf of Mexico due to the warmer temperatures of the water. So for example, we have a lot more hurricanes that we see in those areas, and therefore those coastal areas are a lot more prone to these natural disasters.
What's the next question?
So the next and actual final question that they asked was, how can language be creative? And at first I was caught a little bit off guard because it's a question that you don't typically anticipate in these kind of interviews. And luckily I recently came across a documentary that looked at a specific artist that took both languages of Hebrew and Arabic and merged it into one by taking the top half of Hebrew and combining it with the bottom half of Arabic to create new symbols and new letters and essentially a new language. So I thought that was really creative, and I mentioned that.
What were the professors' reaction to it?
So they were quite impressed because they actually haven't heard about that case before, but then they did ask, why do you think language should be creative, or why do you think it's important for language to be creative? And in response to that, I mentioned that in this specific case of merging Hebrew and Arabic, it does help to merge communities together in order to converse between each other without the barriers of language.
Did they ask you why you applied for University of Tokyo?
Nope, they actually didn't mention anything in specific to the university or the program itself or my Japanese language capabilities. So in summary, a lot of the questions they asked were meant to test your IQ and get you to think on your feet. So in order to prepare for that, it's actually quite difficult. I would just make sure to listen to the questions carefully and have a really good think before you answer to them truthfully and to the best of your abilities. So although I didn't go to Tokyo for my university degree, I thought the entire interview process was really fruitful, and also the prospect of actually going would be fantastic for someone who is very interested in the program and living in Japan.
So if you are dreaming about going to Japan for your university study, peak program of the University of Tokyo can be one option. We'll give you more university information later. If you don't want to miss that, please subscribe our channel and see you at the next video. Bye!
If you enjoyed this video, do give it a like down below and subscribe to our channel for more videos like this.